What do you think the solution is to the high crime rates in Burlington? What would be a solution to stop this?
Socialism. Yeah, it's socialism. It's, crime. Police are a reaction to what happens. Like, if more planes are crashing, you're not going to give people more parachutes. Like, the solution is to stop the planes from crashing, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people's lives crash because their needs aren't being met. They don't have access to food and housing. They don't have access to mental health care. They don't have access to jobs that pay them a living wage here. Like, Burlington, Vermont in particular, like, the cost of living here is so astronomically high and the wages are so low. More and more people are just falling like below that waterline and just suffering immensely, and they end up out in the streets, and it's devastating. Police are never going to be the solution to that. It's going to be meeting the people's needs and providing them with a better opportunity.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about what I told you guys would happen as a result of Zohran Mamdani winning the Democrat primary out in New York City, which is that the virus of socialism and the socialists and communists running for office would spread around the country. Okay, it's going to motivate these people to now get out and to run these mask off socialist campaigns, because now the cat is out of the bag, right? The Democrat Party is vulnerable. They can be taken over by the socialists. And lo and behold, we have a Zohran Mamdani copycat coming out of Minneapolis, and he's now going viral. Okay, he's going viral. He's surging in a similar way that Zohran Mamdani did. And again, we could see this happen once again, okay, where a socialist, a mask-off socialist, pulls off an upset victory in a major liberal city. Now, the current mayor is Jacob Frey, who is the Democrat establishment guy, right? However, when it comes to the socialists and ranked choice voting, which will be used in the Minneapolis general election, what we saw in New York City in the Democrat primary is that if enough of these radical socialists get out and vote, then they tend to do well when it comes to ranked choice voting, right? Because they will rank the socialists either first or second. They'll rank them down the ballot, and then they won't rank the Democrat establishment figure at all, right? So that is what we could see happen in Minneapolis, and that's why we have to talk about the socialist candidate who is currently surging, Mr. Omar Fateh, who is a Somali radical Muslim socialist, probably a communist, right? Just like Zohran Mamdani, right? A carbon copy of Zohran Mamdani, who is, again, this guy is running for mayor of Minneapolis on freeze the rent, raising the minimum wage, and Trump-proofing the city, a.k.a. trying to fight ICE, stop mass deportations, and to diversify public safety response, a.k.a. defund the police. So, without further ado, I want to play this ad that is now going viral, because, again, this guy has taken a page out of Zohran Mamdani's playbook. These are all the same individuals running on the same thing, mask-off socialism. So, let's get into it.
Everyone keeps asking me, Omar, why aren't you doing more videos? As a state senator with a second full-time job and a kid on the way, I just haven't been able to find the time. I've also been fighting for you, passing things like tuition-free college for working-class families, rideshare protections for our Uber and Lyft drivers, and the legalization of fentanyl testing strips. But this summer, you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, because we deserve nice things in Minneapolis too. To make an affordable Minneapolis that works for everyone, we need a mayor that works as hard as you do. I'm ready to work hard to 1. Build a Minneapolis that working people can afford to call home. 2. Protect our city from a hostile White House. And 3. Diversify our city's public safety response. By increasing the minimum wage to $20 by 2028 and passing rent stabilization to stop price gouging and incentivizing new construction, we can protect workers. Protecting all of our communities from Donald Trump means not letting MPD interact with ICE, whether it's for an immigration raid or not. Our residents deserve a mayor that will stand up to Donald Trump and say, no, not in our community. Did you know that the city's own data showed that 47% of calls to MPD can be diverted to non-police response? Cops aren't social workers. Investments in programs like these ensure that the appropriate response arrives when we call 911. And we can actually free up police resources to focus on violent crime that detracts from community safety. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my campaign managers again. They've been on my case all week about make more videos. I'll find the time tomorrow.
Yeah, so again, a carbon copy of Zohran Mamdani with the same talking points, the same people producing these videos. They also are basically trying to hide what they're really for. So again, they're running on freezing the rent. This guy says, yeah, we need to freeze the rent in order to incentivize new construction. Well, again, these people clearly are idiots. They don't understand how stuff actually works, because rent freezes, that actually disincentivizes new construction, because when you can't make money off of housing, okay, off of real estate, then you get less of it, right? You get less supply where you can't make money, right? Again, these people would understand that if they actually understood anything about the economy or economics or anything like that. But again, if they actually understood that, they wouldn't be socialists, right? They're socialists because they're ignorant. They're trying to hide the fact that they're pro-defund the police. Okay, this is why they're now calling it diversified public safety response, because this guy, just a few years ago, he got a whole lot of backlash for openly supporting defunding the police. Okay, and this interview right here is him being confronted about some of his radical beliefs, specifically when it comes to police. And what you're going to see here is that even a few years ago, even in a city like Minneapolis, which again is the birth of the George Floyd movement, a movement I think was one of the most destructive movements in American history, if not the most destructive movement in this country's history. You're going to see a similar pattern in regards to who supports these radical policies versus who doesn't support these radical policies. Again, a similar pattern that we saw in New York. You're going to see it in Minneapolis, which really shows you the state of these liberal cities and who is behind a lot of this radical progressivism in this country. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
And joining us right now, Senator Omar Fateh of Minneapolis. Thank you so much for coming on this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, last week we had Don and Sandra Samuels, who are a prominent North Side couple who are against this charter amendment. You obviously are a state senator. You represent the district where George Floyd died. You are for it. Tell us why.
Well, Minneapolis has produced story after story of police brutality and overreach. And this charter amendment will give us a chance to take a new approach to public safety, mainly a comprehensive public health approach that we haven't before. By building a public safety department that has both police as well as professionals that are qualified to deal with complex issues, we can intervene before issues escalate and get out of hand. So public safety, if you speak to everybody, will say that, yes, we believe it should be for all of our neighbors. It should not exclude people because they are poor or unhoused, or if they're black or brown or Latino or in a medical crisis.
Well, let me ask you, sir, about this poll that was taken last week, that came out last week. It's by the Star Tribune, CARE 11, NPR, and also Frontline. And it basically said that 49 to 41% people do favor the amendment, so they're with you. But when it broke down in terms of race, it found that 51% of whites polled are for this amendment. They want to replace the police department. But when blacks were surveyed, 42%, only 42% said they supported doing away with the police department. 47% were against it. Do you think this poll is wrong, or are they saying something that there's a difference between white and black voters, how they look at this?
Yeah, so again, what they're talking about here is an amendment to replace the Minneapolis Police Department, which is something that they want to do. They want to defund it, okay? They want to replace the police with social workers. Now, this guy, again, they try to frame it like, oh, that's not what we really want to do. That's exactly what they want to do, okay? That's exactly what they want to do. And it's just funny to me how you see the same pattern here in regards to who supports this and who doesn't support this. The same pattern that we saw in New York City, right? When it comes to Zohran Mamdani and his supporters, right? You have a lot of white progressives supporting this, and everybody else saying, nah, we're not on board with this, right? We don't want to take away police, right? But again, the white progressives are supporting it. Again, it's very fascinating.
Well, I think that there has been a misinformation campaign about what the charter amendment really is. It is not going to defund or abolish anything or the police. I think that people, if you speak to all of our neighbors here in the city, they want their neighbors to feel protected and safe, whether they are a black, indigenous, Latino, whether they are homeless. They want everyone to feel safe and secure. And I think having a new public safety department coupled with both police as well as qualified professionals, folks will feel more safe. And right now, the entire nation is watching our city. We have the opportunity to meet this moment and enact meaningful change, or do nothing.
Well, you're absolutely right. Everybody is watching Minneapolis. I do want to ask you about one other thing from that survey. 75% of black voters surveyed said they want more officers, and that's compared with 51% of whites who wanted more officers. So the support in the black community seems to be for police officers. Is that what you're seeing?
No, once again, there has been a misinformation campaign about what this charter amendment means. When we speak to black voters and all voters about what this would look like, how we were going to diversify the staff and have more qualified professionals under a public safety department, more folks than not are for it. But right now, we're being held back by a minimum officer requirement that forces us to hire armed officers at the expense of other qualified professionals.
Okay, and I know that.
Yeah. So again, this guy basically says, "Hey, we're being held back because there's a minimum officer requirement," which means that he doesn't want that, right? He wants less police. Okay, he wants to get rid of them and use social workers instead. But then they'll turn around and tell you, "Oh, well, we don't really want to defund the police. There's a misinformation campaign." It's like, bro, you just told us what you want to do. You have a problem with the minimum officer standard, aka you think there are too many police officers. So you want less police officers and you want more social workers. Again, just be upfront about what you want, right? Don't try to gaslight us and pretend that that's not what you want. We can obviously hear what you want. You don't like the police. The radical base of lunatics, they don't like the police. And this is why you want to get rid of them. So, yeah, I mean, interviews like this, it really gives you insight in regards to what this dude actually believes. This was a few years ago. He is a state senator, okay, and he's running for mayor of Minneapolis, okay? And like I told you guys, you're going to see a lot of copycats come out, and now they're going to be running, and they're going to have a good chance of winning because the Democrat Party, they have no real leadership, okay? Hakeem Jeffries can't even denounce the socialists in his party with a straight face, right? He can't do it. He's afraid to take them on, and this is why they're emboldened.
People are wondering, is there room in the tent? Not saying that I mean, you have a lot more power than him. Not saying you would endorse the whole platform. But when his platform is affordability, ideas around democratic socialism, raising the tax rate in the city of New York, free buses, a different type of foreign policy, if we simplify, but much more harshly critical of the Israeli government, say, than I think the congressional leaders have been in terms of approaching the entire conflict. Is there room in the Big Ten of the Democratic Party for that right now, or for you is that TBD?
Well, certainly we're a Big Ten party, and I think what I'll say in terms of the House Democratic Caucus family is that every single member of the House Democratic Caucus, from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez all the way to Representative Jared Golden and everyone in between, progressives, New Dems, and Blue Dogs, we in the House, we represent the gorgeous mosaic of the American people. That's a good thing. Now, I think what we have to do is make sure that we can more intimately communicate with the American people, that we understand their challenges and their frustrations as it relates to the desire to build an affordable economy that actually works for working class Americans, that we hear you, we see you, we feel you, and we're committed to making life better for you. And the bigger the tent, the more likely it is that we can reach the greatest number of Americans.
Well, let me ask you this. Does Mamdani as mayor help or hurt Speaker Mike Johnson in his ability to retain his majority in November of 2026?
According to people I've talked to, Hakeem Jeffries strongly believes that if Mamdani wins, he can't win the majority, that it's decisive. Now, I don't know if that's, I've not heard it firsthand from the leader, but people who've spoken to him say that's what he's saying. And clearly it puts him in a bit of a bind, because up until now, he's been pretty slavishly responsive to the base. But this is a bridge too far, it appears.
Yeah, I should try to get that on the record, because that's a great story. I mean, you just wrote my lead for me, which is Hakeem Jeffries is privately telling allies that he'll lose the speakership if Mamdani's on the ticket.
Boom, boom. And so what you see here, right, is Hakeem Jeffries. He is somebody that everybody's looking at and saying, bro, where's the leadership? Are you going to denounce this or what, right? Are you going to come out and say that the Democrats are not a socialist party? Or are you going to continue to play footsies with these extremists? He knows that these people winning these races is not going to be good for Democrats, right? He knows that if Mamdani wins in New York, then that's going to motivate a lot of these Democrats, these lunatics, to then run in these Democrat primaries in some of these congressional races, and they're going to lose to Republicans in general elections, right? They're going to lose in the general, and that's going to ruin any chance that Democrats have of taking back the House during the midterms, right? This is bad, right? It's really, really, really bad for Democrats. But again, this is what happens when you have weak leadership. When your leadership is nothing but F Trump, and they don't stand for a damn thing except being against Trump, this is what you allow your party to become, right? It's becoming a radical socialist party, right? This just mask off socialists are now taking over the Democrat Party because they have no leadership. They have no strong male leadership. That is reality. So, again, I'm not surprised that we have another copycat. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude does very well in the race for mayor of Minneapolis. I mean, it's a woke city, right? I mean, they had George Floyd happen there. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like him can win. And if he does win, again, it'll just be another nail in the coffin of the Democrat Party, right? That's essentially what is happening. They've been taken over by communists and socialists. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.